Hello everybody, and welcome to part 13 of my FTC Programming tutorial videos. This video is actually a re-record of a previous video that I did on telemetry. I made some mistakes and I want to cover a little bit more information than I did in my last upload of this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to private the previous telemetry video and I'm just going to put this one in place of that one, and I will just direct everybody to this one in the future. All right, let's get started. So what actually is telemetry? Telemetry is a debug output to your driver station. So you have the option of seeing readouts on your driver station during your tele-up or autonomous as you're driving your robot around, giving you pieces of information so you kind of know what's going on inside your robot. That's what telemetry is used for. If you've done any programming of any sort, telemetry is essentially the print statement of FTC programming. So let's get started with a couple of things. So to use telemetry, how I'm going to use it in this video, you do not need to import anything. Telemetry is just going to be there by default for how we're going to use it in this video. And there's 4 functions that I'm going to talk about in this video. So what will usually end up happening is at the very end of your while op mode is active loop, you'll have all of your telemetry stuff. So all the data you want to output every loop, you'll have that all bunched up in one big block at the end of your while op mode is active loop. There are other ways of using telemetry, but this is the most basic way that I kind of like to show everybody. There's some more advanced ways that you can use telemetry, which I'll include in the documentation page in the description of this video. So the very first function that we need to talk about is telemetry.clear all. This is what we're going to call before we go and output anything to telemetry. So we're at the end of our while op mode is active loop. We want to clear all the previous telemetry that we output in the last loop, and we want to start over. So that's what this line does. It just resets the output console that we have. The next function I'm going to talk about is telemetry.add_line. So this function is useful if you want to just add plain text. So let's say, for example, this thing was triggered. So all this is going to do is whatever string or plain text we put in there, it's just going to output it on its own separate line. It's not going to have any data or anything like that. It's just going to be plain text. If we wanted to output data, that is going to be add data. And this function takes in 2 parameters. This function will take in plain text followed by a variable. Let's just call this variable heading for this particular case, and let's make a double called heading, and let's set it equal to 0.891. So let's assume that this heading variable is the current heading ever bought in radians that we got from the IMU. Pretend that this section right here is a value we got from the IMU. So now we could do something like this. We could do current heading radians. Now we have the heading output. We could also do more than one add data line. So let's say we wanted to do current heading cos. We could output math.cosine heading. Now that we've added all the things we want to have output, nothing is actually going to show up on our driver station until we call telemetry.update. So all of this information right now is just going to be sitting in a cache somewhere. It's not going to actually output to your screen unless you call telemetry.update. So this is more or less the general chunk of telemetry code that you'll see at the end of every while op mode is active loop, all the telemetry you want to add. Like I said, there's some different ways of doing this asynchronously where you're updating different parts at different times. I'm not sure that I'm gonna ever talk about that, but you can read more about it in the telemetry documentation page. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions about any of this, please send me a message and let me know, and I will see you in the next one.